In one of my earlier videos, I read out this passage from Shepard and Slayton's book, Moonshot. It regards the trans-Earth injection burn on Apollo 8. At the scheduled moment, Borman, Lavelle and Anders felt the flaring engine bell hurl forth a long stream of flame, emitting a wide plume of glowing plasma gas behind them. Now, it is important to note that the Command Service Module and Lunar Module both used the same propellants.
Okay, so saying they used the same fuel was good enough. In the annoying tradition of Bill Casing, Jarrah indulges in irrelevant technobabble, trying to beef up his image as an expert by using the terms unsymmetrical dimethylhydrazine and nitrogen tetroxide. See, I can say it too. That doesn't make me an expert on propellants and oxidizers either.
If the ignition of these propellants produced a plume of glowing plasma gas, as Slayton and Shepard assure us, we should expect to see something similar in the videos of the Lunar Module ascent stage blasting off the Moon. Instead, no plume is visible. Instead, no plume is visible. No plume is visible. No plume is visible. No plume is visible.
I suppose we're going to see extensive ad hoc arguments now from Jarrah as he tries to equivocate over exactly what a plume is.
Right away, Houston.
It has been argued by some that the plume caused by these propellants is supposed to be invisible and the passage from the book was purely artistic. However, whilst watching through the 16mm reels from the Apollo 9 mission, something caught my eye.
Ah, it caught Jarrah's eye, as if it wouldn't catch the eye of any of the thousands of real, actual experts all over the world for the last 40 years who've seen this same footage.
Here, we see one of the two spacecrafts off in the far distance.
Pardon me as we skip forward again through Jarrah's arguments with himself over which spacecraft this was. Yes, we can see this brief plume of gas just as the engine is igniting, exactly the way we can see a bright discharge from the LEM as its engine is igniting. And, true to the statements of astronauts, the exhaust is not visible for all the rest of the time, in this or just about any other spacecraft.
As you can see, all of a sudden, the engine lets off a large glowing plume and begins to disappear off into the far distance. What was that? Could it have just been a urine or water dump?
It appears that Jarrah just isn't happy unless he includes at least one strawman argument per video. As far as I know, no one is making this claim about urine or water dumps, but Jarrah proposes it so he can pretend to know better. Of course it was from ignited propellant. Maybe it briefly flares like that because the combustion is momentarily incomplete. Maybe it has to do with the temperature or pressure, or the fuel and oxidizer pumps getting up to speed. I'm sure the real experts know.
Clearly, what we are seeing is an engine firing, followed by the craft accelerating away. Unfortunately, the reel is not dated, so we don't know when it was recorded. But there are many possibilities.
Again, Jarrah uses mission data and to-the-second guesses about exactly when this burn occurred. It's just another example of trying to make his video look more technical. These details are utterly irrelevant.
Why are these gases absent in the videos of the lunar module supposedly lifting off the Moon? And why is the underbelly of these ascending modules so dark? Why didn't their engines glow the way Apollo 9 did? Being fair, if we look at the Apollo 17 liftoff, we eventually see what appears to be a glow. Why didn't their engines glow the way Apollo 9 did? We eventually see what appears to be a glow. Why didn't their engines glow the way Apollo 9 did? We eventually see what appears to be a glow, but only when the ascent stage performs its pitch maneuver, when the craft was allegedly nearing 1,500 feet above the surface.
So here we have the image of the lunar ascent stage after it is taken off. And here we have the image from Apollo 9. Well, they look pretty similar to me. You don't have to be a world-renowned science author and former NASA flight controller like James Oberg to see that there is no significant difference between these two views. You don't need a PhD in astronomy like Phil Plait or a PhD in physics like Luke Quixote San Jose. One doesn't need the pinpoint photoanalytical skills of Boozy Scientist or Gone to Plaid. You don't need to be a professional engineer like Jay Windley or Phil Webb 59. You don't need to have the encyclopedic knowledge of the space program like Apollo was real. Nor is it necessary to be talented, intelligent, and creative like all these others who have taken turns putting this hoaxer in his place. All you need to see that this is no kind of evidence against the moon landings is at least the intelligence of Forrest Gump.
The plume of these propellants were supposed to be invisible. Why are they visible on Apollo 9?
The initial exhaust blast is visible in all of them. Then the exhaust becomes invisible, except when looking almost straight from behind the craft into the exhaust bell where the combustion is taking place. And thank you once again, Jarrah, for providing us with all of the visual information one would need to completely debunk your claims.
I'll leave all you Apollo believers to draw your line in the sand.
Draw a line in the sand? No, I'm afraid that arguing with conspiracy theorists is more like writing on water.